use your feet until they're, let's say 8th grade, or even until they're playing in high school basketball, because there is no coaches going to sit and watching 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. 5th. Hold on, let me take that back. They're not going to watch 1st grade, 2nd grade through 8th grade guys go and play basketball. They're not watching that. They don't care. They're going to see high school kids play, and they're really not going to see them play till they're juniors. So that's what we have to get away from, and that's one of the bad things about AAU basketball, because it's become about making money, taking money from these parents to have kids in the gym when they don't need to be in there playing. They need to be learning. That's how you beat that.
Okay. This is a point in your career where a dark cloud forms over your head. You're being heavily recruited. Of course, you're the McDonold All-American. Every school in the nation is recruiting you. It comes down to home and the University of Iowa. You have an incident with Bruce Pearl. Please expound on it and how that affected you.
Well, when you're a 17-year-old kid, regardless of where we grew up, and you have this opportunity, to finally reach your dream that you wanted to. Mine was to go to college and play basketball, where I could graduate and get my degree and go forward from there. So what took place was I had narrowed my selection down to 5 schools. It was UCLA, Arizona, Minnesota, Iowa, and of course the University of Illinois. So when I decided to go to chop that list down, and that list ended up being between Illinois and Iowa, I went to the McDonald's All-American game. I hadn't told anybody, had not let anyone know where I was going. So I tell Dick Vitale, which I probably should have told Dick.
Yeah,
but, he said, I'm not going.
That may have been a mistake with Dickie V.
Oh, it was a mistake. He's like, nope, Deon, I'm not going to tell anybody. And when he made the announcement on TV, he did not say I said it. He said he heard from a source that I might be committing to the University of Illinois. So he didn't say it came from me. But what he did, when that happened, this is when all of the monotony started. This is when all of the BS started. And, it was a lie. Bruce Pearl went to the NCAA after I decided I was going to Illinois. He kicked off this investigation by saying that Illinois had given me, that Illinois had given me $80,000 and a blazer to attend the university. And the real reason I chose to go to the University of Illinois is my grandmother was everything and all things to me. And when we sat down and we actually went through the institutions, she broke it down like this. UCLA's too far. I'll never see you play. So that kicked them immediately off the list. Arizona, same thing, immediately off the list. Came down to Minnesota. As much as I liked Coach Haskins, Clem Haskins was the coach there at the time. Great dude. Really, really liked Coach. But too cold. I'm sorry.
Amen to that.
Too cold, too much snow.
God.
And if I'm from the Shine, I'm saying
cold,
that you know there's a problem.
Right.
Oh, yeah. And then it came down to Iowa. My grandmother told me, she was like, I don't like him, meaning Bruce Pearl. And she was like, I don't trust him. She was like, it's his eyes, Deon. She was like, they're not trustworthy. So that shot Iowa out the window. And then I asked about Illinois. She was like, I really feel that if I let you go there, that you're going to be okay with Jimmy Collins and Lou Henson. That was my decision, and that's how I ended up at the University of Illinois. But what he did was he went back to the NCAA, said he had proof that I had received payments or had received an offer of payments from the University of Illinois, and that he had a taped recording of it. Now, what this tape recording was, and what happened was, rather, we're on the phone. Bruce calls me. He's on the phone. Deon, this is what I heard. I heard you received this payments from Illinois, and, I say, well, Coach, that didn't happen. Yeah, well, this is what I heard. I got it on good authority that this is, Coach, that didn't happen. Deon, I think you're lying to me. Deon, that's, and it really hurts me. You're lying to me. Coach, that did not happen. This goes on for about 10 minutes. Him questioning me telling him the truth that it did not take place. So at the end of the 10 minutes, I say, you know what, Coach? If that's what you believe, then that's what happened. That's what he took to the NCAA. He spliced the conversation, and he took it to the NCAA and said, see, I have proof. So, of course, oh, yeah. So you go through a ton of things. We've been going back and forth. So the thing that got that out of there, my lawyer says, okay. He took the tape. He took it to someone and got it to an analyst. The analyst could tell that the tape was spliced. So he says, okay, I want the rest of the conversation. I want the rest of the conversation, and I want the transcripts. Of course, Bruce couldn't produce that. And that was really the end of the whole case. Bruce got fired eventually from Iowa. We were exonerated, even though we were smashed by the NCAA and their ruling of lack of institutional control. So we ended up losing scholarships. And to be quite honest, which really hurt us because there were guys that would have been coming to U of I that now didn't come to U of I because we were on probation. I mean, Juwan Howard, Mike Finley, Conzo Martin, and these are guys that I know were coming. There could have been some other cats that were probably going to come too, but the worst thing about that is
when those guys
it's a national
come,
championship.
You may have Sherelle Ford, then you may have Donnie Boyce coming with them. So that's terrible, man. That's tragic. Yeah. So like I tell everyone, the worst thing that happened to me in that is the fact that I did not, as my freshman year, because the university made me redshirt, I did not have an opportunity to play with the rest of those guys from that Flying Illini team because Nick had gone, but you still had Marcus Liberty, still had Kendall Gill, still had Steve Bardo. You had a very, very good team left over even when Nick left. You put me back in there. Now maybe we're back in the Final Four. Now maybe we won the championship. Another thing is Coach Collins ruled the state. That whole Flying Illini team was from the state of Illinois. Yes. He would have been the next head coach at the University of Illinois. And that's what hurts me the most is because he's a great dude. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to meet Jimmy Collins, but great dude who should have been the head coach at the University of Illinois. And indeed, Bruce Pearl took that away from him. And that was kind of the consolation prize. Well, Jimmy, we're not going to give you this, but we'll give you this. And he went there, and it is. And what did he do? He took a team that had never done anything, took them to the NCAA tournament 4 times, I believe, and to the NIT also. And he's an all-time winningest coach in UIC history. I mean, so great things turned out for him, but not as great as they should have been. And that's the thing that really, really irked me about it. That's insane, man, because, guys in the neighborhood, we were all rooting for you, pulling for you. And I told you this as we spoke. I've mentioned you. I've never used your name on the show, but I've mentioned anytime the name Bruce Pearl comes up, I let people who are either on the show with me or the people who are listening. I don't like him if this guy did, he did you in, man. And I don't know about, I know like the guys that I hung out with, my cousins and everything, who knew you also, when it left a bad taste in our mouth. I've never root anything short of the Klan having a team. I would root against Bruce Pearl, and it's just an insane situation because that's just crazy, man. Because you know how it is, like Inglewood and over there in the village. Anytime somebody had almost made it, we were like,
right behind them, baby.
The light at the end. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's one of our guys. I mean, I watched just about every game you played at Illinois, and every time, like, I think y'all weren't eligible for the tournament until your sophomore or junior year, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we were on probation.
Right, and I was like, this is nonsense. Because y'all had a couple good years, and I was like, it's Pearl. And I remember when he resurfaced a few years ago when he was at Tennessee, and I used to hope they lost every game. They were Bruce Pearl, and I was like, that clown, I hope they lose every night. And it's always left, I'm telling you, bro, it's always left a bad taste in my mouth because I'm like, man, this is the worst, man. And like you said, and look at the trickle down effect. He stunted the growth of the program, hurt your potentially hurt your career, hurt Kawan Garris's career, hurt the future of the program because now you got Donnie Boyce going out to Nebraska, Michael Finley going up to Wisconsin, Jawan going to Michigan, and at that point, everybody stayed in the state.
Yes, they did. There was pride to stay at home.
Yeah, like you said, man, you got Gil, you got Battle, you got Nick, you got Irvin Small, Lowell Hamilton, and those guys were all in the 606, not to count the other guys on the team. So, it was.
You had Kenny Battle from Aurora.
Right.
You had PJ, oh my God, PJ was from Southern Illinois. I mean, so all of the guys were from here, and I mean, and that was rough. I mean, it was rough for me to take with the university for one. It was rough for me dealing with, the NCAA for two, So yeah, that was a lot of hatred and animosity. But my grandmother used to always tell me, and you hear me, I quote her a lot, man. She used to always say, Deon, you got to forgive people because if you don't, they hold power over you. And so I had to end up forgiving that dude. And, and she was right. It took a burden up off of my shoulders, but it kept it on his. Because as soon as I saw this dude, the next time I saw him, we were at the Final Four in New Orleans. And so my wife and I are walking down the street, and I see him in the window. He was on the radio in Emeril Lagasse's restaurant. So my wife and I, we keep it moving. He comes running out of the restaurant. Deon, please, can I talk to you? Please come back. And so I go back. I'm like, what's up? He finishes his set. He comes over. He was like, Deon, I've been hoping to see you. He was like, I really just wanted to tell you how sorry I am. He was like, I'm so sorry. He was like, I was a overzealous young recruit that was trying to make a name for myself and blah, blah, blah. And I looked at him and I'm like, Coach, I'm over it. He went on to say, well, this has bothered me for years. Now, do I believe that? I don't know how much I believe it, but he was like, this has bothered me for years. And he was like, and this is really a huge huge weight off my shoulder if you'll forgive me. Like, bro, like I said, that was 20 years ago. Done. And so as my wife and I walking away, she was like, man, I thought he was going to cry.
Wow.
So
you're a better man than me, Deon. I'm not forgiving that tweet. But, yeah, man. It's just, man, it's just the struggle of our community, man. Where we come from. I'm not angry with him. I just look at him and just shake his head because if he's a recruiter, he understands what the Chicago situation was in the late 80s, early 90s. I mean, period, the whole Chicago experience, period. And